Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Connecting With show. I am actually the show producer and a special guest, Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman. And the special guest host is Patrick Ware, who is Betty Jane Ware's husband. And whenever she goes out of town, he takes over the show for her. And he really does a good job. Okay, he does a great job. And so last week he had a special guest, and then this week it was like, let's have two special guests, which is myself. So Dennis Andersen is back this week, and so we both are joining Patrick. So I'm going to bring them on now. Hello, Patrick, and hello. Dennis. Welcome. And I just would like to say that Dennis Andersen is a psychic medium, a hypnotist, and a spiritual teacher, and he's going to have his own radio show debuting Monday, July 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So you want to be sure to tune in at that time as well and catch Dennis's new show. So welcome, guys. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. Dennis is awfully very excited and ready to go. I can hear that.
Yes, I am. I'm pumped.
Well, the only reason we had Dennis back on is because he never stopped talking from last week to this week, so I figured might as well use that. Right, Dennis?
What?
There you go.
That's the one thing that we can always rely on with Patrick there.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. I'm trying to get Patrick to have his own show too.
Yes, I know. The guys at work are bugging me too. They've been listening, and they said it's time I branched away. Now, I'd like to say a couple things first before we start. First of all, congratulations, Dennis. You didn't tell me, and I feel kind of hurt, but I'll definitely try to listen in.
We've been talking about it for the past who knows how long now. So
I know, but you didn't call me and go, Pat. I'm very sensitive, Dennis. I'm very sensitive. Secondly, we're going to talk about a subject tonight.
Well, it's nice to know that you're sensitive, considering all the guys that you work with are working or listening in too. So
that doesn't
I'm
bother
sure they'll be happy. I'm sure they'll be happy to know that.
My boss is deathly afraid of my wife. Won't meet her if she's going to be at an event or something. He won't go. So, yeah. Okay, now we're going to talk about things that might be a little darker subject than what normally Betty Jane talks about tonight. I've talked to her. She's absolutely fine with it. She thinks she's very excited about this. That, as she calls it, Tiffany Roz from Fraser. She always calls her Tiffany Roz, is on. And this is a couple things. I want Tiffany to pontificate on something for me. And I haven't told her this, so this is, you're going live here. Was about how angry the world is. Dennis and I got to go about that, so I want to hear your take on that. How come the world's so angry and divided right now?
Well, you have to really be open-minded to hear my response to this.
Okay,
but
well, I am.
Okay, so we are shifting from third dimension to fifth dimension. Those that don't want to leave the 3D world are very angry because in order for them to leave the 3D world, they have to address the spirituality. They have to, and because that's the only way to get into the upper vibrations, they have to put aside greed, warring, and killing. And those that are comfortable with that don't really want to do that. So that's why there's so much angry, because there's absolutely a choice that needs to be made at this time and day, and we're right at that threshold of those who don't want to. You're going to see them die off either by natural disasters or they'll leave this earth plane because they don't want to be on a 5D, on a fifth dimension, a higher vibrational plane.
Okay, that is an interesting. That's an
interesting premise,
or is that your own theory?
Well, I've always communicated with angels, and in that there's a fine line between angelic beings that we know as angels and our alien ancestors, these divine light beings. And so there are councils of these light beings that I communicate with. And not just me, there's a lot of us, who do that. And so this is what's being channeled, where we're right, this is exciting time. Well, it's exciting and also frustrating because, we're going to see the 3D implode, so to speak. It has to go somewhere, and it's good, but it's going to leave this earth plane.
Now, the interesting thing that goes along with that, though, is can we not say that it has happened previously in our in history? I guess you could say, like really, when you kind of think about it, has it not?
Yes.
Have we not gone through these things at various times before?
Yes, but not on this earth plane. All right. There's been other planets that they've proven, hey, there was mankind lived here. Absolutely, they were former 3D schools.
Now, I can say something.
Earth is the only one, because planets, they are living, breathing entities. Earth has decided to go to the 5th dimension. This is what's new and what's different, because she doesn't want to die off, So all those who are going to stay with her are going to stay in the higher vibrations with her. If not, they leave and actually go to another 3D planet that's already being prepared.
Really?
I know, it's mind-blowing. That's why I'm like, you have to have an open mind, because when they told me this, my mind was blown. It was like,
yeah, okay. Now, you see, the funny part of this is see, I deal with the occult, as I've talked to you about this before. And the occult angels are not angels as you and I would know them. They're more archangels. They're conduits. Similar to what you're saying. So it's kind of interesting if you go into the Crowley teachings and the John D. I don't know if you know John D. at all, but if you go into that teaching, that's all about speaking to angels, which actually were considered by some just to be aliens. So, yeah, it's just...
Well, right, and that's all. There are ancient ancestors, and we are the fallen angels that history talks about. And we're the ones that fell from grace.
Wow, that's an interesting subject. So, I could go into this. I got to think about this one. So you are going to have to talk about this again, because now you kind of got me thinking, and that's dangerous. So,
well, the thing is, though, too, that what I'm kind of seeing, like even when you guys are both kind of looking at it from two different sort of perspectives, and trust me, I have my own perspective on it as well. But the thing is that there's a commonality amongst everything. You know what I mean? So let's say, for example, like with Tiffany, she's kind of like thinking about, let's say, for example, like with the angels and with the 3D to 5D and so forth. Yes, there is an energetic sort of shift, and I'm seeing that as well, like, and I'm feeling that as well. But you can also look at it from another aspect too. Let's say, like with Patrick's, because he's more like, because he followed more of the, I guess you could say the ancient, or not so much the ancient, but let's say the esoteric principles behind certain things. So, but you see how there's commonalities in the underlying aspect of everything, though. You see what I mean? So, which way is the right way?
Well, mine, of course. But let's go on.
So we'll probably never know until we pass.
Yeah, I understand that, because it took me a long time to get to the place where I am now, because I actually have past life memory of being a male, being a warrior, fighting, having blood on my hands, so I understand that whole premise of war and protect, all of that. And I was also a Templar Knight who was tortured for years. So the first part of my life was to really heal from that and to step into my feminine, to embrace the divine feminine. And when I did that, and I always talked to angelic and these higher beings. I didn't really talk to what spirit guides. I saw them around me, but I wouldn't listen to them, because I had developed a communication with the angels, so to speak. So I just kept talking to them because I trusted them. So I understand when you see things from all points of view. We've lived on 3D, so it's part of us. It's part of who we are. But we are also part of the light and the higher vibration.
Absolutely. And that's what we should be striving for in a lot of ways anyway. Because a greater understanding of ourselves is going to naturally lead to that. To a higher vibration and so forth.
Is to understand yourself.
Right. Okay, so what's your take on it? I haven't heard it. Patrick has, but I haven't.
No, I haven't actually heard Dennis's take because we haven't got that far. We start arguing about left and right stuff. So.
Well, okay. I more go towards, let's put it this way, a little bit more of the. You can, some people will say it's pseudoscience. Some people will say it's more along the lines of, let's say, for example, like quantum science, like whatever. Like, I'm not a physicist or whatever, so I'm not going to say, that this is gospel or anything like that. But my opinions and feelings on this is that, let's say, for example, because I'm more of the, let's say, for example, as an energy reader or where I watch aura photography, that type of thing. But the thing is that, let's put it this way, like the electromagnetic spectrum is very broad and far-reaching. So it goes from things, let's say, like the radio waves and so forth, all the way up to cosmic rays. But that's from what we can actually measure. The thing is that it goes beyond that, and the dimensionality of, I guess you could say, energy goes beyond that as well. So whereas some people may interpret things as, let's say, for example, as angels, or some people will interpret things as demons or whatever, I like to look at things as more of an energy sort of perspective. So in other words, it's kind of like, yes, we are shifting, and, things, let's say, for example, like we go through a Mercury retrograde or something like that. What is it doing? It's pulling at our own, I guess you could say, the electromagnetic aspect of who we are within us and around us, I guess you could say, like not just the physical aspect, but beyond that, because energy does have that aspect to it. Like it can't be created, it can't be destroyed, but it can only be transmuted, basically, is what it comes down to. So when we pass on, when we die, what ends up happening to our souls or whatever? Yes, our physical energy is, let's say, for example, is now gone, but it's basically just been transmuted into something of a higher vibration or frequency. And that's the way I like to look at it. Hence, let's say, for example, with the world, it's the same sort of thing. Like we are kind of going through a little bit of a, I guess you could say, a death and a rebirth, because of the fact that we are shifting. And that's the thing there. But we've gone through it many times before, and I guess you could say throughout history. Like you take a look at, let's say, for example, like from the Dark Ages into the Renaissance, and then we kind of slip back into it again, like when we got into the World Wars and the Boer Wars and all those things that have been going on for human history for thousands of years. Like it's just part and parcel of who we are, I guess you could say. The thing is, though, is that the Earth is always going to be here, no matter how you look at it. Like it's very resilient.
Well,
it's very strong.
I'm not sure the Earth is always going to be here, so there you go. So.
Well, I don't know. Let's put it this way. It's been around since for a million plus years, or billions of years, actually, for that matter.
Yeah.
Like,
what's Earth like? Here's the question: is what's Earth going to look like in 5D? Is she still going to be the big blue ball? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so there's going to be some transformation. But and I want to take real quick here, take a break. And we have callers. Please remain on the line. Thank you so much for calling in, and we will get to the callers momentarily. We are taking calls on this show, and we'll be giving readings. So make sure that you press 1 so that you can get on air. It takes you out of listen mode and into the queue so that you can speak with us. So let us just chat for a few more minutes, and we will be happy to take the callers. Just remain on the line so you don't lose your spot on the switchboard. All right. So back to...
I never knew
but
that.
See, the thing is...
Explain that.
About that is part of the goal.
Pardon?
Right? Good and bad whole. This is where we have all gotten astray by separation, by trying to say it's good or bad, but it's not. It's good and bad. You can't have a rebirth without a death. I mean, it's all part of the same thing. And this is where we're coming to, is that no more separation. We're going back to that wholeness, or people see the one, you know.
But you see, that's where I kind of disagree. I don't think there was ever any separation.
Well, there is. There's lots of separation. But I'm going to share something here because it's kind of interesting. And this is kind of interesting because when I was sitting and listening to both of you, you talk about angels, and Dennis said demons and stuff like that. See, now in witchcraft and occult, they always say the left-handed approach, which is the dark side, or in witchcraft, the black magic and all that. See, now I've always fought this, and I fought this on every level, is that there is no such thing as black magic or white magic or good, bad, evil, and that it's your intent. And that's where this is interesting, because I'm listening to, and your guys' intent is always very good. And I just think it's kind of interesting. I'm learning a lot here tonight. I'm not saying I agree with everything, but I'm learning a lot. I'm going to have to look into this 5D because I've not heard this one before.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And here's the thing, but I never believed in the devil, not per se, that God and the devil weren't these two, because they humanize when you do that, right? You make them into these you give human qualities when you try to say that there is, and there is a separation, Dennis, right there. You know, God or the devil.
Well,
this is what society has been trying to feed us. All right, but it's mankind. It's our dark side. A lot of time people say, there's a demon chasing me. It's you. It's the dark side of you trying to tell you something that you don't want to listen. You know. Yeah. And the underworld is anything that, and see, Patrick, anything that this was talking about the intent, absolutely. When we make an intention, it's like a blueprint, and we create. And so that's what created the underworld, with people below 3D. It's the underworld. We created it. Humanity did. and because we can
anthropomorphize things, yes. And that's the thing too. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but it's an anthropomorph. Like we do want to turn things into something that's relatable that we already know. And that's the thing. So let's say, for example, the demon or whatever. Well, that's just something that we like to try to create so that this way we can understand it more. Like, let's put it this way. Let's say 1,000 years ago or whatever, you talk to them about, let's say, for example, like the energies of, let's say, somebody, and let's say if it was the Genghis Khan back then. Who was around way back, controlling everything and just, plundering and so forth. Like a lot of villagers and people that were there at that time would look at it as like, oh my God, this guy is like, he's like a savage, like he was out there to just take, and that's what they do. Like they wanted something that they could relate it to. And that's what I mean by it. So really I look at it as that, it's probably just a lower vibing sort of aspect. But we need something to relate things to. And that's where I guess you could say when we relate to God or goddess or whatever, like that's all part and parcel of that, I think.
Well, you guys have given me a lot to think about. And I've actually heard some of the theories before, but not the 50. I've got to look into this one. This is cool, and I appreciate you for being so honest, and you lay it out very well. So I actually know. No, you do. Like you have. I can hear the conviction in your voice. I talk to a lot of people who say things, and I'm sure Dennis does too. And even in the construction field, though, you can tell when they don't believe what they're saying, and I believe that you believe what you're saying. So that makes it more fun. And now I'm going to look into this.
There's, when we say these things, we just want the listeners to know. Patrick and Dennis and myself, we're not trying to swoo anyone to believe in anything. We just, we like to just, hey, let's talk, let's throw some things around and what our beliefs and this, that, whatever. And that's all it is. We're not, I don't want the listeners to think that, any of us are saying there's a right or a wrong way. Whatever you believe in.
I need to stop you right there. Tiffany, I need to stop you. You believe it's the right way, but you're not saying that everyone has to live by it, right?
Right. That's the point I'm trying to get across to the listeners, is that we're not trying to, convince anyone what to believe.
No. You're not proselytizing. I can't say the word properly, but you're not, well, I'm not going to say it because I could get in trouble, but you're not doing the going around door to door telling people, things.
Well, the thing is, what, we have our, let's say, for example, like you have your beliefs, Pat, like Tiffany has hers, I have mine, but the thing is that what I'm a firm believer in is for the listeners out there right now, is to pay attention to what they believe in. What are they, for them to open up their own, I guess you could say, their own eyes and their own ears, and just, but be, have that aspect of within them to say, like, oh, does this feel good when I listen to it? Does it not resonate with me? Does it resonate with me? And be questioning, like why and stuff like that. And really, that's the whole aspect of spirituality is for a person to sit there and say that they're curious and that they want to explore it and that they want to develop it and that they want to see what it's all about. Really, that's all it comes down to.
And I guess continuing on with what Tiffany was saying was, I'm hoping that people will phone in and tell us what they're thinking about the world and their beliefs and opening our minds up about their thoughts. I don't care what it is, And I think that's the fun part of life, and that's what.
Oh, sorry. On that note, let's take the first caller.
Oh. And who do we have?
All right, our first caller is area code 520. Welcome to the show. What is your name, please?
Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. And do you have any thoughts to share with us, or do you have a question?
Are you answering psychic questions?
Sure.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I was just wondering what you saw as far as my income increasing, maybe, hopefully.
I like the way you say hopefully.
Hopefully increasing, yes. Hopefully.
Well, you guys go ahead.
Well, I'm giving the cards a quick shuffle. I don't know about Tiffany, but the first thing that comes up to my mind anyways is that, yes, there is some, let's put it this way, I am kind of getting is that, yes, you are feeling a little bit emotional about it. It's kind of like you are kind of, like you say, the hoping is there, I guess you could say. I am getting a little bit of patience, though, that's involved, okay, because for some sort of reason is that it just feels like there's a little bit of a rush involved with it. But I do feel like you are actually going to be getting something here fairly soon, and I probably, I'm getting a 2 in my mind, so I don't know if it's 2 weeks or 2 months, but it feels a little bit longer, so I do want to say actually, it just feels a little bit longer yet, so you do have to have a little bit of patience there, but it does feel like there is going to be something where somebody is actually going to be giving you some money here. And it's a possibility that it could be coming in the form of like an inheritance or something like that. That's what I am feeling anyway. How about you, Tiffany?
Yes, absolutely. And I was getting 6 to 8 weeks, and what you guys want you to do, all right, is to let's ease up a little bit. We do this when we're in that type of situation where we need some money to come in. We get real impatient. Take deep breaths. Do see money coming in, that it is going to be gifted to you, and then you're going to get to a point within it, and I see this gift coming in 6 to 8 weeks. And then after that, there's going to start to become, by fall time, by the end of summer, by fall time, a more steady flow of income for you. Okay, Lisa? So everything's going to work out, and you know, if you catch yourself having, oh, I need this now, just stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and go, the money's coming just at the right time. Always believe that, and if you, it really does. You know, once we kind of put that patience in the back seat, or the impatience, I should say, in the back seat, and just, okay, everything's going to be fine. But, and I do. It's like a gift. And it's not just one person. I think there's several people. I feel like there's several people that's going to step forward and help you out.
Oh, okay. Is it help, or because I'm in sales, so I'm wondering.
Well,
it
here's
does
the
feel like there,
is
to
that,
me anyway, is that there was. Go ahead. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. To me, it was feeling as if you were actually not so much in regards to work-wise, but it feels like you're actually going to be getting it from another source. So that's why I was kind of leading towards like an inheritance or something like that. But it feels like there's going to be something aside from work where you're actually going to be getting the, I guess you could say, a bit of an influx of some money coming in. But there could always be, let's say, for example, like, yeah, an increase in regards to your actual work itself.
That's what, when I say help, it's not work-related. So what's coming first is not work-related, all right? So it's from outside your work source, and that's what's coming, you know, within the 6 to 8 weeks. Your work, however, this like by the end of summer and the fall, whether it's contracts are being signed or whether there's just going to be a constant flow of income at the end of summer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so you have money to get you to that time. That's per se.
Okay. So I'm not going to be in financial trouble, or you don't see me losing anything, or... No, but you just can't.
I'm not getting this.
You have to tighten the belt. Tighten the belt. You can't go on a shopping spree, but not yet. You know, so just tighten the belt, they say. You know, just really watch your spending, which you're good with anyway. So.
Yeah, thank you for saying that part too. I try to be good.
Well, just follow yourself within the budget sort of thing, basically. You know, and yeah, just tighten up the belt a little bit, like Tiffany was saying, and I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll weather any storm.
Okay.
I hope that helped.
How about you, Patrick? What are you getting?
What do I think? I think that it's very difficult when you're trying to do readings on someone who's in sales because there's so much outside influences, and every contact that you have is a personal thing. So I think that sometimes bleeds into it, but that's just my outside opinion of someone who doesn't read. And I think sales...
Well, actually, that's an interesting point, too. That's actually a very good point.
Having been in sales, it's every contact, even the people that you meet lining up at the coffee shop in the morning, you never know. You never know. Might lead to something. And those little things are just strange. And I think when people try and read, and I'm not saying every reading, I just think it might bleed into it. And you're finding money coming from the outside, either an inheritance or someone, might come from that. And I'm not a reader, and I want to make that very clear. I'm just doing what I sort of get impression of. How's that?
Yeah,
that's really...
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I think the harder you work at the sales, sometimes it turns around too. And I know you're working. I can tell you work hard at it.
Oh, thank you for saying that too.
Well, I can hear it in your voice. You can hear it in your voice that it's a passion too, and it's sales is one of the hardest things I ever did, and I don't like it, to be honest, because I always felt on all the time, and it was tough for me. Some people are so good at it, and I was good at it, but I felt on all the time. But anyway, that's enough about that. That's what I thought. Dennis, does that help?
Hey, that works for me. That's good. And actually, to be honest with you, it's actually a very good point, because really when you kind of think about it, what are the underlying emotions when you're going into a meeting or something like that? You always have to be kind of like more like high vibe, like, you know what I mean, sort of like uplifting and so forth. And therefore, that way you are projecting yourself in the best possible light to those people that you're trying to sell something to. So in essence, that's kind of which is actually a good point with Patrick, is always make certain that you're you know, like you're always bringing in that high vibe sort of feeling too, you know, whenever you go to meet somebody. Like, try not to worry so much and bring out the high vibe of you, sort of.
Yeah,
really
no, you're right.
They
do sense that. And I was starting to resent the company meetings, and so I took some time off, because I don't like that. The pressure comes within the company, and I don't like that.
Yes.
You know, I went in to help people, and I, you know, make money, but
of course,
it's not like I'm a drag on the company either. But
no.
I just had to take time off and get some perspective on this. And I love the industry. I love, you know, the work itself, but I don't like how the company, you know, has their
like the ethics or the moral standing of it. Like,
well, no, they have good morals. No, they do have good morals, but they set these goals, and I don't want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when it gets all.
And I think the thing is, too, those is try to worry a little bit less about the projection or about your quota or whatever, and just focus on being who you are. And that will actually, in essence, will sell more than you can actually think about, you know, sort of thing. Like, try to defocus of the, you know, like, and not look at, I got to do 30 widgets or whatever it is by the end of the month. You know what I mean?
know.
And just kind of look at it as is just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to make my calls. I'm going to go. I'm going to have fun. And I'm going to see where it goes. Yeah.
That's
exactly. You'll be fine.
Thank you. That's exactly why I got into it, was just to have fun, help, and make money. You know, not to.
Sales, the more desperate you are, your customers see that. When you start to get sales, they see it.
Yes.
And the more you feel you don't care whether you make a sale, and I don't mean you care, you always care, but I meant you don't, you know, if you don't buy something, great. If you do, great. You'll find you go more successfully. And
I agree with
you.
That's
my own personal experience, and that's not a reading. That's just that's actually, I've been told that by a top salesman actually too. So.
No, I totally agree, because I found myself. Well, the thing is, I get really excited because I love the industry, and so then I noticed the feedback I was getting from people, you know, wishing me good luck and that kind of thing, and I had to take a step back, and I thought, okay, you know, my excitement comes from actually enjoying the product and, you know, wanting to share the information, but I thought, you know, it takes away from me, my feelings when, you know, people are sensing what, you know, we just remarked on that. You know, at no point whatsoever am I going to feel desperate. If I feel desperate, I'll just get out of it.
Well, then that's a good point. Now, what I'd like you to do is phone back in on one of our shows, either Dennis's or even Tiffany's or my wife's, and tell us how you're doing in a month or so. And keep us informed, because we'll be interested.
Thank
that
you.
Would be wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for calling in. Have a great day.
You too. You as well. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Tiffany?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you want to be there for a minute, because Dennis and I like to hear ourselves talk about it.
I know, and I just like to listen. I have to remember that I'm a special guest. I'm so used to being behind the scenes.
I know. That's what I was reminding you. I know. My wife is jealous, by the way, because she likes it. She wants to come on her show. So.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, she'll be back next week, right? She'll be back for her show on next week. So everyone.
Yeah, she's back tomorrow. So.
Right, but I mean,
she'll be. I'm
show.
jealous of her right now. So.
Pardon?
Yeah, I know, right? Really? I mean, did she bring us back gifts from
Wow.
from the UK?
The gift of her coming home is awesome for me, so that's all it is.
Oh, I know, yeah. But I'm like, did she get Gordon Smith's autograph for me? I mean, hello?
Yeah. She has several of them. She gave him a baby blanket, so for his new grandbaby. I don't know if it's a son or a daughter. So, because if you know, she's always crocheting. So, whenever she's talking to people, she's always crocheting. So, yeah. So yes, and she was invited to do by the oldest occult store, and I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know the details. I just got told that she could run they want her to run seminars and workshops in next November out of the store. So that's a big thing, because it's a pretty well-known store, and it's big, and she loves the person Geraldine. I've been trying to get her to come to Canada for a long time. Kind of cool.
Wow.
There's a lot going on. I'm sure you'll hear all about it. So.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. That's exciting to hear. All right, let's go ahead and take the next caller here, area code 216. Welcome to the show. You're live on the air. May we get your name?
Yes, hi. My name is Patricia.
Hi, Patricia.
Yes, hi. I have a question.
Yes.
I like to, I'm trying to decide which question. The past 10 months, I've had this new experience of having a past, dealing with a past life, a karmic relationship, and particularly with a man who I'm a student at a college, and he's a teacher, not my teacher. And through the prior reading, I discovered, and he knows nothing about this, but I discovered that we've had this past life relationship, and there is such a strong attraction, and he's there are other issues. And but also I discovered that he practices some type of black magic, voodoo, or something, because other circumstances that happened, he was controlling me, but then basically acting as if he was innocent, meaning he is married, but it gave the impression that I was chasing him. Anyway, I need to know, I've been cutting cords, calling in the angels to help me, and what else, and this is an experience for me, a learning experience. So how do I, resolve it, or, what's the...
with this kind of thing, and you're saying he's trying to control you, and even think you might be using black magic and such forth. I've gotten myself grounded, because the reason he was able to penetrate, so to speak, was I was so distracted and by other distractions and all this. So I've been grounding myself and protecting myself with golden light and white light, and doing this every day. Okay. What I'll tell you is you're giving it power, though, by allowing it. And you need to let go of the power. Let him, not allow him to have that power over you by just not allowing it. And it could come down to meditation and letting yourself concentrate on letting go. And it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, so don't get me wrong, I'm not. But
right, well,
it's like any spell that someone tries, you get a lot of people about this, and it's about if you give it power, it becomes stronger.
He's because
Hello.
So the connection's very strong with past lives. All right, when soul families find each other, the connection's very strong. So he was using that as a back door, because he manipulated you in past lives, and this is what he's doing now. The reason why you came back, your paths crossed this time is so that you can say enough is enough. You can end this. It's time to end the story between you, all right? To put a final note on that going no. Because in the past lives you died before you could make things right, before you could take back your own power, all right? So this is why this time around, absolutely stand in your own power. Do not give him any of that. And don't, like Patrick said, don't feed into it. I understand because I've met somebody from a past life, and the feelings are undescribable. You try to tell people, and they look at you like you've lost your mind. It is very
right,
and it's almost hypnotic. And it's hypnotic. It really is.
And
so
it is.
Yeah, but
and I'm finding it interesting that. And I'm finding it interesting. Now, I haven't said anything except when I've called into Blog Talk Radio and just gotten these many readings, but I don't know, have a personal relationship. But I can tell he has talked to some of his former students because of the way the looks I'm getting. But it's interesting how these men are, so to speak, passing judgment on me. And it's like, oh, wow. And, of course, he's, they know nothing, and I don't think they know he even practices his black magic or voodoo or whatever it is.
But and here's the thing.
Anyway,
don't that power, because aren't lies a form of manipulation, and that's if you want to say okay, black magic and voodoo to manipulate, well, so do lies, and so do and that's what he's doing. He's just weaving a web of lies. And so, but that does not have any power over you unless you want it to. All right? So don't succumb to that. And you said about cutting cords. I have to tell you, I've gotten into big discussions with people about this. That's the worst thing to do. You don't cut energy. Can you cut energy? No. Dennis, can you cut energy? You reroute the energy. Reroute the energy. Just like in brain activity, they show how when you can do that by rerouting thoughts, changing your thoughts, rerouting. You cut, it's like cutting a limb off, and you're withstand some pain. Don't cut. Just reroute.
Well, the thing is,
when you reroute, what you're going to do.
Thing too.
Yeah, Dennis.
Like you were saying, though, is that you can't really cut the cord, but what you can do is you can lessen the effects of it. And by starting those is to understand, though, that within yourself, like Tiffany was saying too, is, let's put it this way, yes, you may have had a past life with them, but it doesn't mean that it's affecting you in this life, or that it needs to affect you in this life.
Right.
And in essence, in a lot of ways, we've all had various connections with a lot of different people, but it doesn't mean that it's going to affect you now, or that it needs to affect you now. But the thing is just understand that, maybe this is a growth time for you, and for you to actually understand that, yes, you are powerful, and yes, you are capable of standing up and saying, okay, I've had enough of this, and therefore I am now not going to let it affect me. The greatest power comes not so much from standing up to a person or standing up to an energy, but it's actually to be able to sit there and say, okay, it's not going to affect me. And when you do that, that's when the power actually comes to you and you feel much more powerful. When you allow somebody or something to affect you, that's when they take your power. But when you can sit there and say, like, it's not going to affect me, that's when you actually have the power within yourself, and the control is yours again. Okay?
Okay. All right. All right. Like I said, I'm much better now. I mean, for those first 6 months, I mean, it was something. But then once I, got, some wisdom from other readers, about the golden, the other energy. Anyway, okay. Well, let me ask you: would a past life be affecting, say, my challenge of getting? I want to know. I'm about to start into a new area of work, and I want to, as a production assistant on films, commercials, that sort of thing. And I'm new to all this, so I like to. What type of feed or energy do you all get with that? I'm in Ohio. I don't know if that. Because I tried it through the temp agencies, and now the clients want the workers to have recent 6 months experience, even if they've had older experience. And it's like, okay, next,
Okay, go ahead, Dennis.
There is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly, I do feel that there is something coming there for you, okay? So I don't want to say is that you're going to actually get it right away, but it does feel like there is something on the horizon there for you.
Right.
It just feels like there's some sort of first thing that comes to mind actually is, and I don't know why, is that there may, if you're interested in that type of work, that you may actually have to look at one of two things. One, either trying to do it remotely, I don't know if you can do that, or if you can do it through, where you may actually have to move. And for some sort of reason, I don't know why, but I'm getting with the East Coast for you, that there's more work out there for that type of work for you as compared to where you are right now. But it just feels like there is something there in regards to some sort of remote work, and I don't know why. Actually being able to do some of the work that, doing actually some of the stuff that you can do, but actually, from the actual comfort of your own home, and I don't know why that.
I think I know what you're talking about. I started to look at some other opportunities of working from home, and to implement, and but also I need the job to start earning income so I can buy a smartphone to get Wi-Fi on it, and then, to use it, So yeah, that part, right? Because I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's a very toxic place for me, and I was really planning to move to Pacific Northwest in about a year when I finish up these classes. So, like I said, I was going to go on ahead and, do this production, assistant, because some parts of it I can apply to that will earn me money while I'm working on my life mission, with the writing, the music, the healing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll do what I, must do right now, and then when I, finish those classes next year, and I'm going to get the hell out of here so quickly and just go to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, and I do feel like there is some really good opportunity for you out on the towards the coast, that east. Anyway, let's put it that way. For me, that's what I was feeling. But if it's Pacific Northwest for you, then okay, that works for you too. Then, just keep your eyes open, and the opportunities will come when they're ready. That's the biggest thing there for you.
Okay.
But I do feel that a move is going to be coming for you. That's for sure.
All right. Okay. Is there anything else? Anybody else?
My specific thing for you was that what I was getting first was I heard you're going to be moving out of state, but it's not soon. So it's beyond a year. But until then, most people work from home, do that remote thing. There's going to be something that's going to be easier for you. So absolutely, these are the things to look into, because you do have some things to wrap up and to finish where you are now. and then you'll be able to move. And I do see near water, too, so whether it's east or west, but it's just going to be near water.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
Check back in.
All right. Thank
in a month or so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. And that's the last caller. We'll finish out the show now, talking amongst ourselves. And so, wow, there's some great calls. Thank you, callers that have called in, and great topics and just great sharing. So you still with us, Patrick? You've been quiet.
No, I'm here. Well, no, you guys are the readers, and I see things differently than you. I listen to the voices and the inflections and stuff, and I hear things, and I hear stress in people's voice, and I've heard that a lot lately, and that disturbs me a little bit, and I'm hoping it gets better, so in people, and that's why I'm quiet. I have to listen. You guys are experts at this. I'm just, I'm more of a. I read rooms and people. That's what I read, not energy and stuff. So.
Well, it's still an energy in some ways, though, right? When you have a room full of people,
but I can read body language and stuff better, and I've always had trouble over the phones and stuff too. So, but I'm not a reader per se like you guys. You guys are wow. You're amazing, both of you. So.
You're more of a reader than you realize. Whether you're reading voices or body language, you're still reading. Who are you fooling?
Oh no doubt. I'm not putting myself down. Promise. I know what I am. Trust me. I have an ego bigger than you need to know. Dennis, do I not? Yes.
Yeah. Not at all.
No, not at all. So, Dennis, I want to give you a minute because you've got a new radio show starting, and why don't you tell everyone what you're going to be doing on your radio show? I'm kind of interested myself. So,
well, like Tiffany was saying or alluding to at the beginning there, yes, next week on Monday at 8:00, I'll be hosting. I came up with the name of Quantum Path Radio, which is a little bit of the sciencey sort of aspect of who I am, but I'm also a reader too, so as an energy reader, that's what I believe is that, yes, everything is energy, everything is a big part of it, and that's what I'll be doing, so some online readings. But I'll also be doing a little bit of other things too, like I'll be throwing in some book reviews and some movie reviews and that type of thing too. And if there's any products that anybody wants to, maybe if they're interested in me having them do a review of their book on air, I can do that, as well as, or if they have certain tarot cards or anything like that, I'm more than willing to have a look at them and give the listeners out there my honest, I guess you could say, perspective of them, sort of thing. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it. Let's put it that way. And hopefully I can have you both on as a guest as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Behind the scenes.
I'll call in and bug you. How's that? Yeah.
That sounds good. Heaven knows, I guess I've done that to you enough times, so I guess what comes around goes around sometimes.
Sure enough, but it is usually past my bedtime, 8:30, so it's tough.
Oh, that's true too.
Just getting up at 4:30 and 5 in the morning is tough. So, yeah. Yeah. Well, no, that's amazing, and I know you'll do an amazing job because just listening to you talk is very refreshing because you have viewpoints and you're definitely opinionated, and that's what you need. So.
Well, it's just my personal opinion, but I'm just here to share it, right? Just like everybody else is doing. Like, let's say, even for yourself, too. And the same thing with Tiffany as well. Like, we all have our opinions, but until you experience it yourself, then that's when the magic starts to happen. And that's what I hope and encourage people to do, is to experience it themselves.
Right,
I'm looking forward to this. And that's good. And Tiffany, you're going to be producing it, I imagine. So.
Oh, but of course.
You get any days off? Geez, you're always on the air every time I turn around. So. Yeah.
What's that? What does that mean? What is that?
yeah, I get that. That's like my wife. She says, "Oh, I by the way, I have 4 readings on the day after she lands, and another 7 on Friday." And I'm like, "How are you going to do that?" And she says, "Oh, this is fun. I'm looking forward to it." Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. I know Beijing has a special guest too coming up too. I can't remember the guy's name, the gentleman's name. Sorry. He's a tarot. He's produced his own tarot deck and everything. So she's very excited about that. I know she was going on about that. I think she told you.
Jade DeFore?
Yeah. That's
no, I know. No. I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yes. Hold on, I'll tell you, because I do have it written down.
I thought so, but I just remember she's really excited about it. Like really excited.
Yes. Okay. Right. That's July 18th. It's Eric Dune, or I think that's how you say his name. We're Dunn. D-U-N-N-E. Eric Dunn. D-U-N-N-E. Dune. Dunn. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, yes, he's the creator of the Tarot Illuminati.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, you got him?
Yeah.
I'm definitely listening because that's what I use.
No, is it? Oh, wow. No, she's very excited. Because he phoned her up and they were chatting, and he said, "Do you need me to send you my deck?" And she goes, "Oh, no, I have one." And she went, "That was stupid."
Well, I know.
Oh, that's wonderful. When is he coming on? July?
July 18th, you said?
18th. Yeah, July 18th. Yeah.
I'll be listening because that's my go-to deck right now.
Well, there you go.
Out of my decks that I have.
I'm sitting in front of 380 decks, I think, maybe even more right now in our basement here. And I own 3 and I don't even use them. So there you go. Anyway, thank you, Dennis, for tonight. I really appreciate the last couple. I've really enjoyed it. And Tiffany made my whole day looking forward to this, and you did not disappoint, that's for sure. So I'm going to look into the 5D thing, and interesting. So thank you both very much, and we'll be looking forward to talking to you off air as well as on air again.
I think we just need another hour or two, that's all.
Boy, we never did get to the topic I had all written out and researched all week. Thank you very much, you guys. So there you go.
That's why I was like, just go with the flow. Because I've had that happen too. It's like, you can. It's good to be prepared though, but you can be prepared to talk about something and then it just goes in a totally different direction. You're like, oh, okay.
I know, but I worked hard on that, so, geez. Oh, well, another time. Yeah. Anyway, thank you again.
Eddie, we'll let you know. We'll take over another one of her shows, or you can start your own. Hint, hint.
I know, my wife told me that too. So she says, "Go ahead and start a show." And I asked her if she'd be a guest on my show, and she said she would. So excellent. So all good. Thank you, Tiffany. I think our time's up anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, our time is up, and thank you so much, Patrick. You're outstanding special guest host, and Dennis always is a great special guest, and so excited that your show is debuting Monday, July 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be Quantum Path Radio show, so be sure everyone that's listening to tune in to that, and it's been a great evening for probably a couple more hours. So, Patrick and Dennis, if you want to have any final words, so let you guys close the show.
I'm just going to say thank you, Dennis, and let you finish, Dennis, and good luck on your show.
Thank you very much, and I just want to say thank you as well for having me, and to you, Tiffany, as well, for giving me that opportunity next week and for many weeks after that, and have yourselves a wonderful week.
Thanks, Dennis. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good week.
You too.
Bye.